Hi guys, so today I'll be showing you how to create this tidal wave bracelet. Now the reason why it's called a tidal wave bracelet, if you can see the bands in the inside, they kind of look like waves from the ocean. They're going like over themselves. That's why it's called tidal wave bracelet. So for your things you'll need to make it, you'll need 2 to 3 colors of bands. Well, I recommend 2 to 3, but it's up to you. You'll need a C-clip, just one for this bracelet. You'll need a loom, whichever type you want, and a hook. I recommend a metal tipped hook because for this bracelet there'll be a lot of tension on your hook. So if you have a plastic one, there is a chance of it breaking. So I recommend to have a metal tipped hook. Now let's get started. So I'm just gonna move the bands over here. Okay, so you want to have your arrows on your loom pointing down. So you want to have this hook or this clip right, having it here. And then for this part on the end here, you can see I have my black bands. Whichever color you want to be there, that's what you're gonna use now. So I'm just gonna take single bands for this, and I'm just gonna do it like how I do just the simplest Rainbow Loom bracelet. So I'm just going across and across, just all the way down my loom. Now I'm gonna go pretty quickly in this because this is quite simple. So just gonna keep going like this all the way down to the end of your loom. Okay. Now, if I'm going too fast, feel free to pause the video. Okay, all the way to the last one, right there. Okay, now you're gonna push all of those down and make sure your bands don't get out of order, because that part is important. So just make sure they go down all the way to the bottom of the pins. So we'll need to put a lot of bands on over top of this. So make sure it goes all the way down. Okay, now what we're gonna do is this part gets kind of tricky, so I'm gonna go as slow as I can. So for this part, you're gonna take 2 bands of whatever color you want. So you're gonna take double bands. You're gonna stretch it across those pins, but instead of just finishing off like that, you're gonna stretch to this pin and twist it, put it all the way there, just like that, so it kind of looks like figure 8, like that. And then you're gonna do the same thing, but instead of starting on this pin, you're gonna start on this pin. So I'm taking 2 of my other color. Instead of starting this pin, I want to keep going and start on this pin. So I'm still taking double bands, putting it onto this pin, twisting it onto this pin, and back on there. And make sure you push those down, because like I said, there's a lot of bands going on. Then you're going to take your next color. Instead of starting on this pin, you want to start on the next pin. So you're taking this, same thing, going to the second band, twisting it, third pin, fourth, like that. And then you can see the figure 8, and if it looks like that, then you're doing it correct. Right now I'm taking my next color and doing the same thing. Instead of starting this pin, I'm starting on this pin. So I'm starting here and then putting it on this pin, twisting it like that. Now you should start to be getting the concept of this. So still you're taking 2 bands on this pin, twisting it onto that pin. Now if you want to rewatch it, then feel free to do that. I'm gonna go a bit quicker on this, so starting on this pin. Sometimes it helps if I start on this pin and just pull it to that one and over here. Just makes it go a bit faster. Then you're still taking 2. This whole part should be 2. Not your bottom bands here, but your top bands here. And then starting on the next pin, twisting it right like that. Still be having the figure 8, and you're alternating in your colors. If you have 3, then you're alternating the 3. If you have 2, you're alternating the 2. If you have 1, you're just going to keep going with 1, and so on. So, keep going. Make sure you're starting on the next pin, because if you keep going on the same pins, it's just going to look like a bunch of 8s stacked on each other. So you want to get the bracelet going. And like I said before, this will be a lot of bands, so I'll try to make it as clear as I can for the hooking process. But it'll be a lot of bands to go through, so alright, keep going. And this bracelet does take a bit of patience to get going, but once you get the concept, it's quite easy. So, ready? Okay, so keep going on these bands. Make sure you're doing double, because it'll look quite strange if you use single bands. Double around and here. 2 bands here, and then twisting and here. And then if you have lower quality bands, you want to make sure you're going slowly in the twisting, because they can break quite easily in this. So just want to make sure. It helps really if you stretch it out and then let it go. That just helps it get used to the tension so they don't break. Yeah. And then just have a few more here. And then, like I said, pause the video if I'm going too fast and just keep going. Alright, so here I finished it on my last pin. So now I'm going to take a cap band, and if you don't know what that is, I'm going to show you. So you're going to take it on your last pin. You won't need to turn your loom around. It's the last pin here. So you're going to take whatever color you want for your cap band. For me, I'm using the same color I used for my bottom to make it look more like it's all connected. But it's your choice. So I'm putting this band on here, and then I'm going to twist it like it's a figure 8. And then I'm going to put it back onto itself, just like that. So it looks like it's 2 bands, but it's 1, just twisted. So now it's time to start the hooking process. This gets a bit confusing, and it's quite hard. So I'll show you as slow as I can. So what you're going to do is you're going to go inside the cap band. Instead of grabbing this one, you're going to go inside both of these and grab the bottom. For me, it's the white, so the very bottom layer. You're going to pull that through the cap band and your 2 others, and you're going to pull it onto the next pin. So I'll just rewind what I did there. So I grabbed the bottom layer that I had, and I made sure I went inside both of these and grabbed it. And since I didn't hook it forward, I hooked it to this side. Because if you hook it forward, it's kind of going to look like a taffy braid in a tidal wave. So that's going to look really different. So I want to hook it sideways, just like in a regular, the simplest Rainbow Loom bracelet. Just you're hooking it sideways, 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 sideways. There's a lot of bands, so it gets quite hard. And you want to make sure you don't have too much tension on your bands. So I'm basically going to do the same thing, but instead of on this pin, I'm going on this pin. So I'm going inside all of the bands except for the bottom one. I'm grabbing the bottom one, pulling it nice and slowly over onto the pin on this side. And if it feels like you can't get it fully over, that's okay. Just pull it there because there's a lot of tension on the band, so it might be a bit difficult to get it on. So that's fine. Gonna keep going, so just gonna try to angle that there. You're gonna go inside all of the bottom one. You're gonna grab that. Yeah. Go. Okay, so inside here, grab the bottom band, so inside all of those, grab it and pull it to the next pin diagonally towards it. And as you can see here, I don't have it fully like through, but that's okay. It'll still look the same because there's a lot of tension on the bands, so it won't be able to go like fully have this band pushed all the way. So that's okay. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side. You're going inside all of these bands. You don't want to miss one. And then you're grabbing the bottom band. So you're not going inside the bottom band. You're just grabbing the bottom band, pulling it and hooking it over here. Just like that. And then, like I said, there's a lot of tension, so the bands might happen to break in this. There is a chance you'll still be able to fix it, but you just got to be careful with them. Okay, and then same thing over here, inside all the bands except for the bottom one. Grab this bottom one, pull it off the pin and onto this pin. And then you're doing the same thing in this one, going inside all of these bands, pulling this one over, hooking it over here. And you make sure you don't let go of any because that could make your bracelet break. So I'm just going to speed up a bit because you should be starting to get the concept. So I'm going inside, grabbing the bottom band and pulling it over to the next pin. If you didn't start to get it, you can rewind and just keep going because there's no special things we have to do here that are different. You're just going inside all the bands except for the bottom one and grabbing the bottom one and pulling it to the next pin. So just gonna keep going till the end of your loom. This is sort of like just the regular fishtail bracelet, except you have to go inside a bunch of bands instead of just one and hooking it over. So it's sort of similar, not that complicated once you get into it. If you have high quality bands, it's quite easy to get the elastics over the pins. Yeah, it's a bit confusing at the start, but if you go slowly in it, then it'll work and you can figure it out quite quickly. So I'm just gonna keep going, make sure you're going inside all of the bands. And if you feel like, since we're not hooking any more bands except for these, if you feel like your bracelet's gonna break because you don't hook any of these, well, basically when you're hooking these, it's basically stabilizing your whole bracelet because there's one of these on the bottom and one on the top, so it's basically building your bracelet all together so no bands can like come off or anything. But once it's off the loom, then there'll be barely any tension on your bands and it's unlikely to break for a while. It's just on the loom, it's quite tight, so you want to really be careful about that. Okay, I'm almost at the end here. Keep going, I'm just gonna slide this. inside all the bins, grab this. And then for the last one, over to that last pin. Okay, so now, since you should have 4 bands on your final pin. So instead of just taking it all off, we want to add a little, because we don't want to have 3 bands and hook it onto the C-clip. We want to have 1 to hook on to the clip. So what we're going to do, so this might be a little confusing, you're just going to grab 1 band of whichever color you want. You're just going to put it on the hook beside it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go inside all 3 of these bands on your last pin. And then you're going to try to grab this band that you just put. You're going to bring it through all of the 3. You're going to hook it back onto itself. So sort of like we've been doing. That'll just help it so you don't have as much on your C-clip. As you can see, I did one of those here. So your bracelet's less likely to have the bands fall off of the C-clip, because if you just have 2 on each side, it'll be much easier. And it's unlikely your bracelet will fall off the C-clip. So now it's time to take this all off. This is quite the easy part. So I'm just going to go inside these bands and grab both of them. And I'm just going to put them onto my my hook to make sure it's nice and secure and it can't fall off. So you don't want your bands to be like here. You want them to be at the end so they don't fall off. And now we're just going to pull everything off. And feel free if you want to use your hook to like help you take the bands off, and you can do that. And just take everything off of your loom. Once you get sort of the start, you can just pull everything off. Make sure you're not going too hard and you're breaking the bands, because that would mean you have to restart your bracelet. So I'm just going nice and easy, getting all the bands off. And don't worry about going slow at the end, because since we have a cap band, nothing will fall off there. So I'm just going here. This part's quite simple. You're just pulling off all the bands you made, put on, or what am I saying, made, put on, pulling them all off here, over, and then with this last one, it doesn't matter if you pull it off, it comes off because it's a cap band, so it won't fall off when you're doing it. So you can just pull that all off. And as you can see, it's kind of wonky donkey and it's all like curled up from the loom. So what we're now going to do is basically the easiest part. You're just going to stretch it out so it gets all even. And you're just going to even out the little waves in it. Yeah, and then I'll show you how to attach the C-clip and we'll be done. So see, now it's getting even, just like that, and there you should have something like that. Now I'll show you how to attach the C-clip. It's quite easy. So what I like to do is I like to take the 2 bands that I have on my clip and just take them off, put them on my 2 fingers, and I'm grabbing my C-clip and I'm just boop, clicking them on, or clipping it on onto those 2 bands. Then I'm grabbing, you should have 2 bands right here. This should be your cap bands, or cap band, and you're just grabbing this same thing on your 2 fingers. You're just clipping it on there. And there you have it. So thank you for watching. I hope you liked this bracelet, and I hope you were able to make it. I absolutely love how this turned out. I really like this bracelet because it really shows the tidal wave. Like how I used 2 colors of like the ocean, so I thought it was a good idea to make those 2 colors. Yeah, I really like this bracelet. Hope you do too. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.